Hello and welcome to the Herbalist Path, a podcast where you'll discover how to make your own herbal remedies at home so that you can take better care of yourself, better care of your family, and better care of our planet. I'm Mel. I'm a clinical herbalist, environmental educator, and mountain living mama with this crazy passion for teaching more mamas and their little loves how to use plants as medicine in a safe, effective, and tasty way so that there can be an herbalist in every home. Again, it's an absolute honor to have you on the journey down the herbalist path with me so that together we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Herbalist Path. I am so grateful to have you here, and I'm just going to spill it up front. I may get a bit gushy and mushy and all feely about my passion around the world of herbal medicine and making sure that more families know herbal medicine and all of that kind of stuff in this episode. So if you don't want to hear me gush love and passion for plant medicine, you should skip to another episode. Anyways, I'm in this process of getting ready to open the doors again to Apothecary Mama, which I really haven't done since last November. So I'm really, really excited about it. And as I'm doing that, there's a lot of work on the back end, and it's really caused me to reflect on a lot of things. Things like how herbalism has impacted me and my life and my family and, all of those things as a whole, and how it is so incredibly important that moms start to use these herbs and these plants as medicine again. Because, your ancestors used to use plant medicine because it can really make a dramatic impact on other moms' lives, on your children's lives, and ultimately on the health of our entire planet. And that, to me, is incredibly beautiful. It's also incredibly beautiful as a teacher to see the way that herbalism and plant medicine has changed so many lives. When you can turn to simple plants and natural remedies that you can grow in your home or gather right when you need it, because plants are pretty cool and magical like that, they just tend to pop up right when you need them. They really, really do. This isn't just like me speaking some woo-woo, Mel, witchy, hippie stuff here. Like, I've really watched this happen time and time again throughout my herbal medicine journey, and it's amazing. Like, for instance, one time, actually way in the beginning of my herbal medicine journey, I had just got my first and only case of bronchitis ever. And I had been stuck inside for like 3 weeks at one point. And I hate being stuck inside. Like, I am a nature girl. I love to be outdoors. And so I made my partner, Chris, take me to one of my favorite trailheads. And it's a Salmon River Trail in the foothills of Mount Hood. It's this luscious green old growth forest with ginormous trees and just moss dripping down everywhere and a beautiful crystal clear mountain river rushing by this trail. It's stunning. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. Anyways, I used to live right like half a mile from this trailhead and would go on it all of the time. And so I'm like, can you just take me there? Because I am so sick of being inside. And we go, and I still was sick. And I would take like 10 steps and I would have to like stop and catch my breath or hack up a lung or two. And it was always miserable. But every single time I stopped, and there were a lot of them, there was a cool lichen at the bottom of my feet, like right at my toes, and it was lungwort. And it kept happening. I did it again. Stop, catch my breath, hacking up my lungs, walk, 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 stop, catch my breath, hacking up my lungs, like bending over, trying to breathe. And there's more lungwort. And finally, after like, I don't know, maybe 10 times of seeing this lungwort, like literally at my feet, screaming at me, "Hey, Mel, I can totally help you. Pick me, pick me." And it's not like I had to pick it because it's already dropped on the forest floor. That was the beautiful part about it. Anyways, finally I'm like, oh, I think this stuff is talking to me. And while lungwort is a lichen, it's not a plant technically, but you get what I mean. Nature's medicine, right? So I picked up a small chunk of it and I decided to take it home with us after our very, very, very short walk because we like really couldn't get too far at all. When I got home, I made myself a cup of tea with this lungwort lichen, and I just needed a little piece of it, and I drank the tea. And within 30 seconds, I took my first deep breath that I had taken in well over 3 weeks. I kid you not. It is that amazing. And that's just a little testament to like one of the many, many times I have seen plants just be like, "Hey, you need me. I'm here for you right now. I'm the one. Use me. I want to be used by you." Anyways, so it's going to be a lot of story time in this episode as well. And really all this just got me thinking how much having this kind of knowledge and this skill set does impact my life, even though I'm so ingrained in the world of herbal medicine, or I wouldn't have this podcast, right? But I also love seeing how it can impact your life and your family's life too. And I think one of the greatest, like the biggest feeling overall that I get from it is the feeling of empowerment. And really, empowerment is a pretty big umbrella because it really does cover a lot of things. One of the biggest ones for me is like, clearly, our Western medical system is broken. And it is also an incredibly important mode of healing for many. It is absolutely necessary that we have it. It can and does save lives every single day. And that is amazing. And I'm so grateful for it. But the system is still so incredibly broken and corrupt as all get out. It is not a healthcare system. It is a sick care system, and you can get stuck in it so deep. And I just always knew that I never wanted that for myself or for my daughter. Actually, I was raised in that system and in and out of surgeries and antibiotics and all of the things for like my chronic and consistent ear infections that I had as a kid. And I knew I didn't want that. So having the knowledge of herbal medicine and holistic healthcare has allowed me to navigate that broken system in ways that I feel so much more comfortable with and empowered by. Like, I know when to say when, and I know when I need that medical system, when it can save my life or do other amazing things that plant medicine just cannot do. And more often than not, what I get to find out is that I don't need to rely on that system for everything. And that is so incredibly empowering for me and for my family and everybody around me. Another thing I love is like knowing what to do when everyone in my community is getting sick. You know the gig, like everybody's posting on social media, everybody's sick all at the same time. And yet somehow, like my family and I manage to avoid it. Somehow. Right? I mean, honestly, this sounds kind of silly, but there's a lot of times that there's this piece of me that just wants to be like, neener, we're not sick again. But that would make me a jerk. So I don't do that. And I don't want to be a jerk. Instead, what I want to do is just shout all the things I know about plant medicine at all of my friends and these moms and these kids and help them to feel as empowered as I do. But alas, I can't do that because not everybody wants to learn about this stuff. They just want that instant fix pill, or they want the herbs to act as an instant fix pill, which they aren't. They really aren't. So if you're listening, hoping that you're going to get the instant fix pill remedy from me that is all plant medicine based, that's not how I work. But how I do work is helping people feel confident and secure in their use of herbs and natural remedies for their family. That's beautiful. And again, it's not for everyone. Like some people's families just aren't down with it, right? Or this has actually happened to a lot of the moms that have come into my Apothecary Mama program. They're like, I'm here, but my husband is just not on board, or my mother-in-law totally doesn't believe in it, or somebody in their web of people that they live and commune with is just like, no way, that's all witchy woo-woo stuff. Don't believe the hype. And I feel it, I see where they're coming from, because many of us are very absorbed in that system. That's all that we know. And to think that these plant medicines might do something more for your family or for humanity is maybe even threatening or frightening or something along those lines, until they see it work. And that's what I love seeing inside the community, is when somebody's like, oh my gosh, I used this remedy and actually worked, and my husband was thinking I was crazy, and I did it and it worked. And now I can see that power of plant medicine. It's so freaking cool. And it can be really challenging to get your family members on board until they see the evidence. Sometimes they can see the evidence over and over and over again and still choose to close their mind off to it, which is unfortunate, right? Anyways, I could go on a whole rant in that department too. But one of the other reasons I think more and more moms need to use plant medicine is because it is so much more sustainable for our planet. For real. I love my daughter, and I love this earth, and I really want there to be a healthy earth for my daughter to be able to live a healthy life on. And so much of what is in our pharmaceuticals and our disgusting food system is destroying our precious earth, which is destroying our future, which is destroying my daughter's future and your kid's future. That's the stuff that breaks my freaking heart. Like I have tears welling up in my eyes right now. But all I can do is choose to continue to live in a manner that is more sustainable and focus as much as I possibly can on the health of not only my family, but your family and our entire planet. It's deep. It's really, really deep. And it's hard to do all of the things perfectly. Like, it's darn near impossible. So we do have to forgive ourselves for some things and recognize that we do live in a society that does not necessarily embrace this lifestyle yet or again. Oh gosh. Yeah. The whole sustainability thing really, really gets me. But another thing, back to empowerment, like I said in the beginning, most of these things are going to go under this web of empowerment. But have you ever felt how friggin' incredible it is to know that your kid knows what herbs to turn to when they need them? That's why we as moms and parents need to have this knowledge so we can pass it down to them, just like your ancestors used to pass down from generation to generation until the mid 1800s came about. Anyways, it's a really, really, really cool feeling. And what it's doing is setting them up for success in a world whose future, let's face it, is a bit grim at times, with systems that are broken and powers that be that are focused solely on their wealth and not the health of the people. I mean, right now, as I record this, just a little bit ago, the frickin' Supreme Court has just decided to backtrack on the importance of making sure we have clean water. Are you freaking kidding me? This is the crap that chaps my hide so much and makes me worry so hard for our future. Forget the science and evidence that we need clean water. Forget the planet. Forget the people. Let's just allow these huge corrupt corporations to continue to pollute these precious lands for the benefit of just a few greedy jerks. I don't know about you, but this This really has me outraged. And if I talk about it much more in this episode, it's just going to result in me being very, very mad. And that's not why I got on this episode. I came here to talk about the impact of using more herbs and using them safely and effectively for your family. So where was I? I was talking about how awesome it feels to know that my daughter knows more about plant medicine than I'd say about 90% of the adults in our country. Since she was a toddler waddling around, that's when she got to know plantain and how it could help with ouchies. And she helped her friends at that young age with their ouchies in the park. Freaking cool. And it's also when she started to develop her relationship and deep love for chamomile, which has helped her in so many ways I cannot even explain. It has kept her calm. It has helped her tummy aches. It has helped her pink eye. And she now knows and loves chamomile on an incredibly intimate relationship. Or when she feels that first tickle in her throat, and she comes to me and says, Mom, I need echinacea. And I haven't even seen any evidence that she's sick yet, but she's so in tune with her body. And she's like, oh, I know I need to kick this. I know exactly what plant to go to. Let me tell you, as a mother, that is amazing. That is an incredible gift to pass down to your child, especially in this world. It actually happened just the other day again. We had gone on a camping trip to the Oregon coast, which was really beautiful, and we were hiking every day. And one of the last hikes we took had a rickety old wooden railing along the side of it, and Anira was running her hand along it, and she got a splinter. And through all the hullabaloo of packing up to go home. When we got home, we kind of forgot about it. But when we got home, I was actually on a meeting with my team talking about how awesome plant medicine is and just thinking about planning for opening the doors to Apothecary Mama and things like that and how it's empowering and yada, yada, yada. Anyways, I'm in the middle of the meeting and she comes down the stairs and she's like, hey, Mom, do you have that plantain tincture? I want to get the splinter out of my thumb. Or finger, or whatever it was. And with my team is like, hey, let's cut that clip right there. So my not even 10-year-old daughter yet found the plantain tincture, doctored herself up, and got rid of that splinter on her own. That's pretty amazing, right? It is such a gift that she gets to be so connected to nature and the healing power of plants around her. And that's what we need for all children. And that's why I feel it's so important for us as moms to regain this ancestral knowledge. So again, we can pass it down from generation to generation. That's exactly what has happened for many thousands of years. It's only been a millisecond on the grand timeline of this earth that people have not been in touch with plant medicine. It all started in the mid-1800s when Big Pharma came around, when people decided, discovered, wow, we can extract these constituents from a plant, put it into a pill, market it, and make a ton of money. Let's make sure people forget about these plants and how they work. Which is really ironic because the pharmaceutical industry is one of the biggest polluters of our world's water systems. Things that make you go, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Icky broken systems. Anyways, I said I'm not going to go off on too many rampages in that realm, but I also love that plant medicine has helped me avoid so many trips to the doctor and trips to the ER, and it saved my family tons and tons of money, thousands and thousands of dollars, and so much stress. I'll look at my other mom friends I see on social media, and I feel like they are constantly at the doctor. They have to take time off work, which makes them lose money. Then it's stressful watching all of this stuff happen and waiting in waiting rooms and all of these things and not getting clear answers. Not getting clear answers from these highly trained people that give you 7 minutes of their time in their tiny little office. That's absurd. There is a downfall, though, for me. Not getting to see the doctor so much is because I absolutely love my doctor. She was actually my midwife, too. And I love when I get to see her because we both chat a lot. We both talk an awful lot to the point that she's even, when I do have appointments, she's like, let's make yours the last of the day. So we can chat extra. But more often than not, if I call about anything regarding Anira, she's like, Mel, you know what to do here. You don't need my help, which is really amazing. And here I go with the word empowering again. But I really do want to hang out with her because I love her. I really, really do. So here's another gig that we need to consider in this whole game as I gush and ramble about plant medicine and how incredibly powerful it can be. One thing that does happen is a lot of people assume that natural automatically means safe. And unfortunately, that is the farthest thing from the truth. There are plants out there that can make you really sick and can unalive you completely. And if you don't know what they are, that's scary, which scary is an understatement. That's potentially deadly or can cause some other extreme illness and a trip to the hospital that you may have been trying to avoid. Another thing that I see happening out there is when we're dealing with our kids, we have to think a bit differently, and we've got to recognize what plants are safe for them. We've got to understand how much you can give them to work with them safely and effectively, because it's different than what's safe for us as adults. And I mean, think about it. When you look at a medication or an over-the-counter drug, there's different dosages for adults and children, right? Because we have much different sized bodies, things like that. And anyways, all that stuff can just be really, really, really hard to navigate. And while there's tons of information about herbs out on the interwebs, some's great, some is far from great. Nobody's really talking about what is safe and what is effective for our kids. Well, beyond maybe elderberry syrup. I feel like elderberry syrup gets all the love and attention out there with good right, because it's an amazing remedy. But there's just so many more that are incredibly powerful and beneficial as well. And that's the other thing, like elderberry syrup's great because it's yummy, right? So we can get our kids to take it. And that becomes a whole another struggle in and of itself, because a lot of natural remedies can be just gross. And kids often are just picky, but, and like picky and hard to get to take things when we want them to. And if you've listened to me in this podcast for any amount of time, you know that I'm a huge proponent of making herbal remedies that taste great so your kids will actually take them. So that's more than half the battle. The herbs don't work if you can't take them, right? Another thing that I see often is just not knowing what to do, just getting overwhelmed, listening to all the misinformation on the interwebs, listening to the in-laws saying that it's toxic, or you start freaking out because you can't figure out what to turn to and if it is safe, or is this real, or is this not, or any of those things. It can just be challenging. It can be really, really challenging. And this really brings me back to why I am so excited to be opening the doors again to Apothecary Mama, my online herbal mentorship, because you get live Q&As with me every other week. And if you're new to me, hi, I'm Mel. I've been rambling for a long time and you've listened to me for quite a while, but I'm a clinical herbalist and I have studied plant medicine for over 20 years and worked with hundreds, if not thousands of people. And I formulate products, and I'm an herb nerd, really, in a nutshell. Anyways, in Apothecary Mama, we do like a lot of deep dive herbal learning intensive. So I help you understand how the body works. We talk about different lifestyle shifts that can improve your health and the health of your kids. And then, of course, we go into the herbs that can help with ailments that kids face. So we talk about things all the way from pregnancy to emptying the nest, so colic or anxiety or acne, or obviously colds and flu, and different remedies for different aspects of colds and flu, and all of those kinds of things. So it's basically this huge herb program that focuses on plant medicine for kids. And the cool thing is these herbs are safe for your kids, but that means they're also safe for you. And just because they're safe for kids does not mean that they're not going to be powerful for you. They are powerful for you. It's just nice to have a resource that you can look at, like a reference catalog with herbal lessons helping you navigate the beautiful and wonderful world of plant medicine that can also be a bit overwhelming. It's fun. Anyways, I've actually been building this program out for the last year or so. And as I was going through everything the other day and thinking about what can make it even better, I must say I was really kind of blown away and impressed with all that's already in there, which feels really funny because I've just been buried in the books and the research and all of the things that it takes on the back end to make a program like this that is based on science and research and obviously anecdotal evidence as well. It's pretty cool. And without floating my own boat, is that the right term? Without stroking my ego or whatever, I'm really impressed with what's inside. And I wish that were there for me in the beginning of my motherhood journey. But anyways, as I'm doing that, I'm doing it because I'm looking for more ways to improve and to grow and to make it better and easier for moms to navigate right when they need it. And one of the things we're focusing on as we get ready to open the doors is to make the incredible community of other mamas even better. So right now there's some amazing moms and grandmas in there helping each other out, navigating this overwhelming world of herbal medicine. And it's so great to see. It's great to see them give advice and wisdom based on the lessons that they've learned inside of the program and sharing their wins and successes. And soon we're going to be doing an Herb of the Month challenge and a bunch of other fun challenges and all kinds of cool things that I don't really want to spoil because they're all still in the works. And another cool thing about it is while you're listening to me on this podcast, and yes, I teach a large portion of the lessons and programs, I also bring in incredible guest experts, the best of the best. I bring in naturopathic physicians that specialize in pediatrics. I bring in other clinical herbalists that have been teaching for decades so that you can learn about plant medicine outside of just my boisterous, bubbly voice. But there's so much benefit to learning from many, many herbalists. I feel that that's one of the things I'm so grateful for myself in my herbal education journey is I got to learn from the best of the best. I got a very well-rounded herbal education, and I can see it from so many different perspectives, from the more scientific aspects, from the folky aspects, and gosh, I could just go on and on and on about it. But anyways, it's really great having these teachers come in and teach on their subject matter that they are absolute experts at. Okay. I don't want to spoil it. I am just really, really giddy about opening up the doors and helping more moms navigate the world of plant medicine. So know that is coming soon. And I know that this episode was a bit rambly. I was just really kind of going off the cuff with my passion and love for plant medicine and my desire for there to be an herbalist in every single home again, and my desire for all of us to come together and make herbalism spread like wildflowers so that we can do the tiny little piece that we can do to make this world a better place for all. Okay. That's it. If you have the time, I would love to hear from you. How has herbal medicine impacted your life or the health of your family? Or if you're new to the game, which is great, I'm glad you're here, welcome. I just want to hear from you. What brings you to the world of herbal medicine? Or If you've been around forever, share with me your experience. Reach out to me and let me know if you are inspired to learn even more about plant medicine. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook at The Herbalist Path. You can head to my website and hit the Connect with Mel page. I really want to hear from you, and I really want to come together with you and make this herbalism stuff spread like wildflowers. So thanks again for listening to my passionate, ooey gooey, super mushy love for plant medicine. I hope it gets you inspired to play with more plant medicine and that you have an amazing day. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of The Herbalist Path. Being on this journey with you is absolutely incredible. If you dig this episode, please leave me a review on your favorite podcast player and share it with your friends so that together we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. On another note, I must mention that while I know you're getting some good info here, it's important to remember that this podcast is purely for entertainment and educational purposes and is not intended to be a substitute for medical treatment. While the information in this podcast is absolutely relevant, herbs work differently for each person and each condition. That's why I recommend you work with a qualified practitioner, whether that be another herbalist, a naturopath, or your doctor. So thank you again. I am truly honored that you're tuning into these episodes and on the path with me to make sure that there's an herbalist in every home again. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends so that we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers.